And we know football is on everyone's mind this Monday morning following the Kansas City Chiefs' stunning Super Bowl victory during last night's epic Super Bowl.
Yeah, and then there's this, okay? The New York Jets also making headlines this morning. Proposal on the table to lure Gang Green back to Queens when the new stadium is built at Willets Point. So let's talk about it. Queens Borough President Donovan Richards joining us now to talk more about this. So good morning to you. I know you were up late watching the game last night.
Yes.
Thanks for being here early.
Good to see y'all.
Yeah.
Glad to be up this morning.
I know. Well, we couldn't drag you in. Up too late. So let's talk about this, right? Because we've had this conversation about the new 25,000-seat soccer stadium, and it's gonna, who knew this idea of bringing the Jets back? Are you in favor of this? What's the likelihood of actually happening?
I mean, heck yes. I mean, the economic opportunities. I am a Giants fan, I must admit, but would I rather the Giants? Yes, but I'll take the Jets in Queens.
We gotta leave something in Jersey.
Right, something. Something.
So, Jersey is no fun. It's all about Queens.
Excuse me?
Jersey is no fun. It's all about Queens.
Didn't you post a picture where you were at your American Dream with your son?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay, Jersey. Jersey, gotcha.
You got it over. You got him.
That was a neighbor's birthday party.
I missed nothing.
It wasn't me bragging
So, is there a likelihood of actually happening? Are these conversations happening?
It's very preliminary, but we'll see what happens.
Okay.
But I'm excited about soccer coming to Queens.
Absolutely. All right, shifting gears here to this story we've just been watching play out over the last week in horror. The devastating earthquake in Turkey claimed the life of a family of 4 in Corona, Queens. The Turkish community, of course, all across our area coming together to respond to this crisis. There is such a large Turkish population in Sunnyside and Maspeth, Queens. Have you visited the community to really find out what is needed and how we can all support?
Well, we're in touch with the ambassador's office and looking to put together a drive-in. My heart goes out to everyone who has felt this devastation from Turkey to Syria. And, our prayers are with them. And Queens is a very diverse community. And one of the things I'm most proud of is during times of devastation like this, we all come together. Yeah. So I'll be up there certainly to visit the mosque in a few days. But my heart goes out to the family. And like I said, we're going to pull together to do everything we can to help the families in the communities who are feeling this devastation.
Yeah, New Yorkers always step up to the plate when they know there's others in need, right? Let's talk about the budget, because Mayor Adams unveiled his $103 billion budget last month, which included some budget cuts to education, social services, which can really impact New Yorkers who receive public assistance. There's a lot of conversation around this. Is that going to impact Queens residents? What's the impact of the budget to you guys?
Oh, absolutely. And, we're going to fight tooth and nail to ensure that social services are intact. We've seen the highest concentration of asylum seekers. We felt the devastation around homelessness in our borough. So we need to really ensure coming out of this pandemic that we're focusing on the things that are critical: affordable housing, education. I could tell you I'm visiting schools who've historically been disinvested in. We want to ensure that our children are getting the services and support that they need. So it's good. We're still in the beginning stages of the budget, but we look forward to releasing our budget priorities this evening.
And speaking of civic involvement here, in an effort to get more young people involved in what is really happening in their communities, you're launching the Youth and Young Adult Council at Queens Borough Hall. So what are the qualifications, and is there an application deadline perhaps?
Yeah, and I think the deadline is about next week. But let me say this, we've seen, and I've encountered youth violence. I got involved in politics when I was 18. I had the unfortunate murder of a childhood friend that got me engaged. Arnell Patterson, rest his soul. But we want to make sure that we're doing preventative measures to keep our young people off the streets and to support them and to make sure that they know that their voices are heard. One of the things we've done at Borough Hall as well is make sure that there are more 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds on community boards as well. So you're never too young to serve, and we want to get our young people engaged as early as possible to ensure that they are civically engaged in our community.
Yeah, we were just talking to the commissioner, too, about the summer youth employment program that's launching in just about an hour and a half from now to apply. I do want to get your attention and ask you a question about what's happening with the legal and illegal marijuana dispensaries, right? The legal ones, 3 of them have opened, all in Manhattan. Is Queens going to get some? Is it on the table?
Yes, it is. And we are talking to some of the folks who've gotten licenses, such as Life Camp, who are based out of Queens. And of course, Queens felt the 105th precinct in Southeast Queens had the highest concentration of arrests and summonses. 86% of all arrests, we go back to 5 years ago when we uncovered that 86% of arrests and summonses happen for Black and brown communities. And we want to make sure that this is not a Manhattan-centric business. We want to make sure that the outer boroughs who felt the biggest thing of law enforcement when it came to cannabis arrests and summonses are the ones that benefit the most. So we are in conversation, and I do anticipate we will see some dispensaries out in Queens.
Okay. All right, Mr. Richards, before we let you go, let's talk about Borough Hall on your block. We hear it's making a comeback this year. Tell us about it.
Well, it's, you heard of Jenny on the block in the Bronx,
yes.
Donnie on the block in Queens. And this is an effort to ensure that we bring services directly to communities. We want to ensure that we're not living in some ivory tower, that people know, especially coming out of this pandemic, that Borough Hall is here for you. So we're coming to your block in Western Queens, February 21st to the 25th, and look forward to conversing with everybody out in Western Queens, having a great diversity of events, and making sure that people know that we're here to serve their communities.
All right. Don't be fooled by the rocks that he's got. He's just Donnie from the block, Borough President Donovan Richards. Thank you so much for joining us on this Monday. We appreciate it.
You too, Vanessa and Dan. Good to see y'all.
Take care.
See you in American Dream. All right.